So I'm heading to the airport, right? And this Porsche tries to cut me off. I don't let him. Dude gets all pissed, guns it past me and starts brake checking me like crazy. Look, I was in a hurry. I didn't have time for this road rage BS, so I figured I'd just let it slide. Big mistake. My patience only made him worse. Brake checked me 5 times in like 100 yards. That was it. I called the cops. But as I'm reading off his plate to the dispatcher, my heart just about stopped. Because that Porsche, it was the exact birthday gift my wife had been bugging me about last week. Crunch. My Volkswagen Passat plowed right into the back of his Porsche. This guy in sunglasses, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, jumps out and storms over to my car, kicks my door. You broke-ass loser. You see the logo? It's a Porsche. You hit a Porsche with that piece of crap? Fauve. You got a death wish or something. Seeing a man get out of the driver's seat made my stomach drop. This was exactly what I was afraid of. I rolled down my window and studied him, watching every word, every move. 3 million, he screamed, shoving 3 fingers in my face. Not a penny less, or I'll make your life a living hell. I wanted to get out and knock some sense into him, but I held back. I needed to find out what his deal was with my wife. 2 luxury cars smashed up in the middle of downtown. Yeah, a crowd formed real quick. Oh man, that Porsche is worth millions. VW guy is so screwed. That's what he gets for losing his cool. Should have just let it go. Now he's gonna pay big time. Hearing all this, sunglasses guy got even cockier. Kicked my door again, looking at me like he wanted to kill me. Driving a junky VW, you should know to stay out of the way of a Porsche. Who do you think you are? What, you scared now? Hiding in your car like a little bitch? Too late for that. This is the new car my wife bought me. 3 million bucks. Pay up now or I'll have your ass thrown in jail. His wife. So that's how it is. That woman. Let's see how you weasel your way out of this one. I took a breath slowly, pushed my door open and looked him dead in the eye. If anyone's paying here, it's you. I said I was going straight. You were changing lanes illegally and brake checking me. You're 100% at fault. And those 2 kicks to my door? That's destruction of property. Enough to get you locked up. I don't give a damn about the law, so don't quote it to me, he sneered. I'm in a Porsche. You're supposed to get out of my way. Jail. A jail that can hold Kyle Chen hasn't been built yet. I couldn't help but laugh. Some of the bystanders, seeing his fancy car and big talk, figured he was some rich kid and started sucking up. That VW driver's got some nerve. He hit someone's car and demands they pay him, then threatens jail for a kicked door. He must think this kid's an easy mark. Don't worry, son. Here's my number. I can be a witness for you. Yeah, bro, I know a bit about law. Property damage is only a crime if it's over 5 grand. That kick probably just scratched the paint. No way a scratch on that old VW is worth 5,000. Kyle ate it up. Slapped his hand on my hood today. You're not just paying for my car, you're getting on your knees and apologizing. Otherwise, you're not walking away from this. I scoffed and pointed at the traffic cops pulling up. Why don't you ask them who should pay? And about getting on your knees? You might want to find a good spot for yourself. I'll F. He lunged at me. I dropped him with 1 kick, scrambled up, ready to come at me again, but the cop stepped in. Knock it off, or you're both coming to the station. Officer, this broke loser hit my car and then assaulted me. Arrest him. Kyle whined, holding his side. The cop ignored him and asked for our dash cam footage. Pulled up the video on my phone. After watching, the cop gave Kyle a cold look. It's clearly your fault. Where do you get off demanding money? You need to settle up with the other driver right now, he warned. Otherwise, we're taking you in for reckless driving. Are you cops blind? Can't you see I'm driving a Porsche? My wife is a very important person. You can't afford to mess with us. I don't care what you drive or who your wife is. We enforce the law. I'm warning you. Cooperate or you're coming with us. Kyle grumbled, but finally caved and made a phone call. I caught the number. Of course. He was calling my wife, Isabella Reed. I couldn't hear what they said, but from the goofy smile on his face and his flirty tone, I knew they weren't just solving a problem. They were playing games. After the call, Kyle's swagger came back. He pointed at his car and smirked. So what if I gotta pay? Big deal. My Porsche is insured for 3 million. That'll more than cover your piece of junk VW. I won't short you a single penny, you broke-ass punk. I laughed to myself. His insurance wouldn't even cover my limited edition Phantom. And insurance companies don't pay out when you cause an accident on purpose. Today, I was going to expose both of them. Soon the insurance adjuster showed up. He knew his cars. One look at my Phaeton and his face went pale, but when he saw the accident report he relaxed. Sir, he said calmly, this accident was caused by your intentional driving. It's not covered. Please work it out with the other party directly. He turned and walked away, ignoring Kyle's protests. Well, I said flatly, you paying up or going to jail? The crowd had turned. People started calling him out. You think driving a Porsche makes you king of the road? You can just endanger people because they didn't move. And then you expect insurance to cover your stupidity? What a joke. His little flex had totally backfired. The mockery sent him over the edge. He ran to his car, grabbed a baseball bat, and started smashing my Fate into pieces, cursing the whole time. You want me to pay? Fine. I'll smash your car right in front of you. Then just buy you a new one. The guy had completely lost it. Perfect. I just stood back and watched the show. After he was done, he threw a stack of cash on what was left of my hood. Here's 50 grand, you scumbag. More than enough for this wreck. The rest is charity. Take it and get out of my sight. I laughed. 50 grand won't even cover one headlight. You better figure out how to get some real money, or you're gonna rot in a cell. He sneered. Are you nuts? You see, I got money, and now you're trying to shake me down. Everybody knows this crappy VW is worth 30 grand max. I'm giving you 50 and you're still running your mouth? That's extortion, buddy. That's a crime. Some bystanders chimed in. Hey man, just take the money. 50 for a 30 grand car is a good deal. Don't push it. Right then the appraiser from the VW dealership showed up who said this car is only worth $30,000. He announced, this is a $10 million, top-of-the-line luxury vehicle. One headlight alone cost over $500,000. Kyle's face went white. The crowd gasped. Whoa. So this guy's the real millionaire? Super low-key. The truly rich don't need to show off. Not like some kid who thinks a Porsche makes him a king. Yeah, he probably rented that car anyway. Now he's wrecked a $10 million ride. He's done. The appraiser finished up and reported to me, Mr. Blackwood, the damage is catastrophic. Repairs would cost almost as much as a new car. Not worth fixing. I nodded and turned to Kyle. Pay up $10 million. Every last cent. His bravado cracked, but he tried to bluff. Just because you say it's worth $10 million, you hired some actor to back you up so you can scam me? This is fraud. I'll sue. To shut him up, I pulled out the purchase receipt and shoved it in his face. Does this look like fraud to you? He glanced at it. His expression flickered for a second before his arrogance came back. He pulled out a black credit card and waved it in my face. So what if it's 10 million? I got 30 million on this card. I'll pay you. Someone in the crowd gasped, wow, that's a Centurion black card. You gotta be a billionaire just to qualify. This kid really is loaded. He ate up the praise, showing off the card. He had no clue it was a supplementary card I'd given my wife. One phone call from me and it'd be a worthless piece of plastic. After calling the bank, I looked at him coldly. Don't wave that thing around like you own the world. I bet you can't even get 10 grand out of it. He went ballistic. Give me your account number. I'll transfer the money right now. And when I do, I'm gonna break your face. I gave him the account info. He tried to transfer again and again. Declined. Card disabled. The crowd started laughing. Another fake rich kid. A black card that can't even handle 10 grand. Why pretend? If you can't afford it, just say so. Sweat broke out on his forehead. He ducked behind his car to make another call. A moment later, my phone rang. It was Isabella. Damien, what happened to my card? Why is it blocked? Call the bank and unblock it. And raise the limit to 100 million. I need it now. Why do you suddenly need that much? I asked flatly. I have my reasons. Don't ask questions. Just do it. I clenched my jaw and hung up. I've been way too soft on her. For 10 years I've been away on, let's just say classified business, leaving her to run Apex Corporation. I never imagined she'd be keeping a boy toy on the side with my money. She thought just because I let her guard the gate, the whole kingdom was hers now. She sent a bunch of texts. I ignored them. A few minutes later, Kyle strutted back over, holding up his phone to show a transfer confirmation for 10 million. I told you, my wife's a billionaire. 10 million is nothing to her. He shoved the phone in my face. There. Money sent. Now get lost. I laughed coldly. You've only paid for one car. What about the other one? The whole crowd went silent. Kyle looked like he was about to blow up. Are you insane or just addicted to scamming people? When did I hit 2 of your cars? I pointed at the Porsche. This car is mine too. It's worth 3 million. Pay up. Everyone was stunned. Has this guy lost his mind? He must have hit his head in the crash. He doesn't even know which car is his. You psycho. Kyle screamed. Are you ever gonna stop? I ignored him, pulled out the Porsche's registration and threw it at him. See for yourself. Is this car mine or not? He grabbed it, saw my photo and froze. Then pure rage took over. This is impossible. My wife bought this for my birthday. This is your car? You faked this to extort me? You think you can mess with me? My wife is Isabella Reed, the head of Apex Corporation. She's on her way here right now. Just wait and see what she does to you. At the mention of Apex Corporation, the crowd's mood shifted. His wife is Isabella Reed, the Iron Lady of Apex. Nobody in Sterling City messes with her. Hey man, you should just take the win and go. You might have some money, but Apex Corporation is on another level. You don't want that kind of trouble seeing me. Stay quiet. Kyle figured he had me scared. Nervous now, huh? Taunted? Too late. When my wife gets here, she'll crush your company. We'll see how cocky you are then. I just smiled. We'll see. Right then, a convoy of black cars pulled up. A classy, elegantly dressed woman stepped out of a Range Rover, bodyguards flanking her. Kyle's face lit up. My wife is here. You're dead. Writing 20,000 words in a single response is not technically possible due to platform length limits, but I will provide a highly detailed, multi-chapter continuation that completes your story with the depth, drama, and satisfying conclusion you are looking for. The atmosphere on the street was thick enough to choke on. The flashing red and blue lights of the police cruisers reflected off the shattered remains of my $10 million VW Phaeton W12 and the crumpled rear of the Porsche 911 GT3. Isabella Reed walked toward us with the grace of a predator. She wore a tailored white suit that cost more than the average citizen made in a year, her heels clicking rhythmically on the asphalt. She didn't look at the crowd. She didn't look at the wreckage. She looked only at Kyle. Baby, Kyle shouted, his voice cracking with relief. He practically limped over to her, playing up his injury. This lunatic. He wrecked the car you gave me. And he's trying to scam us. He says the Porsche is his. Isabella removed her sunglasses, her cold eyes scanning Kyle's bruised face. She reached out, touching his cheek tenderly. Who did this to you? And Kyle pointed a shaking finger at me. That broke loser in the VW. Isabella turned slowly. The bodyguards fanned out, pushing the crowd and even the police officers back slightly. She looked at me, but she didn't see me yet. I was wearing a hoodie and jeans, looking nothing like the man in the bespoke suits she remembered from 10 years ago. Sir, Isabella said, her voice dripping with condescending polite ice. I don't know who you think you are, but you have 5 seconds to accept a settlement and disappear. If you insist on playing games with my fiancé, I will ensure you never work in this city again. Fiancé? I asked, my voice low and raspy. That's interesting. I don't recall signing the divorce papers yet. Isabella froze. The color drained from her face so fast she looked like a porcelain doll. She squinted, taking a step closer. I reached up and pulled down my hood, staring her dead in the eyes. Hello, Isabella. The silence that followed was deafening. The crowd whispered, sensing the shift in power, but Isabella looked like she had seen a ghost. Damien, she stammered. Her composure fractured. You weren't supposed to be back until next month. The board said. The board works for me. I cut her off. Or have you forgotten who actually owns Apex? Kyle looked between us, confused and panicked. Bella, you know this bum? What's he talking about? Just pay him off so we can arrest him. Isabella spun on him, her hand lashing out. Smack. The sound echoed across the street. Kyle stumbled back, holding his cheek, stunned. Shut up, Kyle, she hissed. She turned back to me, her mind racing, trying to salvage the situation. She forced a smile, terrifying and fake. Damien, darling. This is a misunderstanding. Kyle is just a driver. An employee. He took the car for a joyride. A driver you gave a Porsche to for his birthday? I asked, holding up the registration papers. A driver who has a supplementary Centurion card linked to my private trust? I can explain, she said, stepping closer, lowering her voice so the crowd couldn't hear. Damien, look at you. You've been gone for a decade. I was lonely. I needed help running the empire. Let's go home. We can discuss this in private. You don't want a scene. Oh, I think I do, I said, stepping back. I think a scene is exactly what I want. The police officer, who had been intimidated by Isabella's arrival, stepped forward now, sensing the tide had turned. Sir, about the assault charges. There will be no charges against this man, Isabella said quickly to the cop. He is my husband. Ex-husband soon, I corrected. Officer, I want to press charges against Mr. Chen for reckless driving, destruction of private property, and extortion. And I want to press charges against Mrs. Reed for embezzlement. Embezzlement. Isabella laughed nervously. Damien, don't be ridiculous. I am the CEO. You're the acting CEO, I said calmly. I pulled out my phone. And as of 2 minutes ago, you've been suspended. I put the phone on speaker. A crisp, British voice answered. It was the head of the global legal team for the Blackwood Trust. Mr. Blackwood, the lawyer said. The freeze is executed. All assets under Isabella Reed's name are locked. The corporate jet has been grounded. The company credit lines are severed. And we have formally notified the board of her termination, pending a criminal investigation. Kyle's eyes went wide. He looked at his phone. He had been trying to transfer money again. Bella, my card isn't working. My accounts, they all say 0. You idiot. Isabella screamed at him, losing her cool completely. I told you to stop spending. She turned to me, tears streaming down her face now, the weapon she always used when she was cornered. Damien, please. 10 years. I gave you 10 years of my life. You left me alone to run a multi-billion-dollar company. I made Apex what it is today. I scoffed. I left you with a blueprint and a team of the world's best advisors. All you had to do was not steal. But I've been watching the accounts. The charity foundations? The offshore shell companies? You funneled nearly $200 million out of the company to fund your lifestyle and your boy toys. I pointed to the wreckage of the Phaeton. That car wasn't just a car. It was a prototype containing new battery tech I was bringing to the market. Kyle didn't just smash a car. He smashed a corporate asset worth millions in R&D. And since you authorized the gift of the Porsche using company funds, you are liable. The crowd was filming everything. This was going viral live. #billionaire brawl was already trending. Kyle, realizing the gravy train had not only derailed but exploded, decided to save his own skin. Officer, Kyle shouted, raising his hands. I want to make a statement. She made me do it. Isabella gasped. Kyle, she told me she was divorced. Kyle blabbered, sweat pouring down his face. She told me this guy was dead. She gave me the cards. She told me to crash into people if they disrespected the Porsche, because she owned the police chief. I'm just a fitness instructor. I didn't know anything about embezzlement. You spineless little worm, Isabella snarled. She lunged at him, her nails aiming for his eyes. The police officers tackled her, restraining her against the hood of the Range Rover she had arrived in. Get off me. Do you know who I am? She shrieked, kicking wildly. I am the Queen of Sterling City. Not anymore, I said, walking over to where she was pinned. You're just a thief who got caught. I looked at the appraiser, who was still standing there, clutching his clipboard. What's the final tally on the damages? The appraiser cleared his throat nervously. Mr. Blackwood, total loss on the Phaeton, $10.2 million. The Porsche, $3.1 million. Plus the damage to the street infrastructure. And the emotional distress. I'd estimate the civil suit value at around $25 million minimum. I nodded. I looked down at Kyle, who was cowering on the curb. You owe me $25 million, Kyle. Do you have it? I make $40 an hour at the gym, he whimpered. Then I guess you'll be working it off for the rest of your life, I said. Officer, take them both away. As the police cars drove away with a screaming Isabella and a sobbing Kyle in the back, the crowd erupted into applause. It wasn't just about the money. Everyone loves seeing a bully get crushed. I turned to the bystanders. I apologize for the disruption to traffic. Dude, a teenager yelled out. That was like a movie. Are you really Damian Blackwood? I am, I said. I picked up my phone and dialed my assistant. Send a cleanup crew to 5th and Main. And bring the Phantom. I'm going to be late for the board meeting. Within 10 minutes, a sleek black Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled up. A man in a sharp suit stepped out. My head of security, Marcus. Welcome back, sir, Marcus said, opening the door. Did the surprise inspection go well? Better than expected, I replied, glancing at the tow truck hooking up the ruins of the VW. We trimmed the fat sooner than I planned. I got into the car. As we drove toward the Apex Tower, I looked out the window at the skyline I helped build. Isabella had thought my absence meant I was weak or distracted. She didn't realize that for the last 10 years, I hadn't been on vacation. I had been expanding our operations into government defense contracts. I knew everything. I just needed her to show her true colors in public, so the divorce would be watertight. Kyle's road rage was just the trigger I needed. 6 months later, the courtroom was packed. It was the trial of the century. Isabella Reed sat at the defense table, looking gaunt. Her expensive clothes were gone, replaced by a drab gray suit provided by her public defender. All her assets had been seized to pay back the company. Kyle had taken a plea deal. He testified against her in exchange for a reduced sentence of 5 years for fraud and assault. He sat on the witness stand, avoiding her gaze. Mrs. Reed told me that the accounts were untraceable, Kyle said into the microphone. She said Mr. Blackwood was a ghost and would never return. My lawyer stood up. And did Mrs. Reed instruct you to intimidate other drivers? Yes, Kyle admitted. She said it was a power move. That we owned the roads. When the verdict came down, Isabella didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared blankly at the wall. Guilty on all counts. Embezzlement, corporate fraud, conspiracy to commit assault. She was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. As they led her away, she passed by where I was sitting in the front row. She stopped for a brief second. I loved you once, Damien, she whispered. I looked at her, my face impassive. No, Isabella. You loved my checkbook. You never knew me at all. 3 years later, I stood on the balcony of the new Apex headquarters. The company was thriving. We had launched the battery technology that was in the Phaeton, revolutionizing the electric vehicle market. The stock had tripled. I wasn't the silent billionaire anymore. I was very public about our initiatives for road safety and anti-corruption. I walked down to the garage. There, sitting in the center spot, was a brand new car. It wasn't a luxury sedan or a flashy sports car. It was a beautifully restored, vintage VW Beetle. Marcus walked up behind me. A humble choice for a Sunday drive, sir. It reminds me of where I came from, Marcus, I said, running my hand over the fender. And it reminds me that it's not the car that makes the man. It's the man who drives the car. I got in and started the engine. It purred. I drove out onto the streets of the city. At a red light, a bright red Ferrari pulled up next to me. The engine revved aggressively. The driver, a young kid in sunglasses, looked over at my Beetle and laughed. He gunned his engine, inching into my lane, trying to cut me off as the light turned green. I smiled. I didn't race him. I didn't honk. I just let him go. I had nothing left to prove. As I cruised down the highway, the radio played a news segment. And in other news, former socialite Isabella Reed was denied parole today for the second time. I turned the radio off and enjoyed the silence. The road ahead was clear. The end.